Hello everybody, it's Ducky Randoms here. Today I'm going to give you guys some tips and tricks on different stuff that I have found while playing this game. There's a lot about pop slots that people don't realize, and there's a lot that really you could just find out if you went through their help guide. But one of the big things is the hot seat and the cold seat and the regular seat. So with a hot seat, it's actually made towards getting more chips. So you're more likely to get the chips that run across the screen right here. With the cold seat, it's more likely to get the bonus. So on this one, you're more likely to get the Santa bonus and the presents. Now, certain games like Quick Bar Gold, I think that's what it's called, they have the bonuses that are also in tandem with the jackpots. So I always go with the hot seat on that one. Where other games like Emerald versus Rubies, I like using the cold seat. Cold seat seems to give me more bonuses. And then anything with a wall, I always use the hot seat. Anything without a wall besides the Rubies and Fire and Ice, I usually just use a regular seat rather than a cold. Fire and Ice is the other cold seat that I like. The next thing I want to go over is some of the events that come out. They're not really geared towards higher players, they're geared towards lower players to get them extra coins or extra chips so that way they can bet more. In the higher tiers, those mystery prizes normally aren't worth it. I think it was on the last one I spent probably around 60 billion and I probably got about 60 million in bonus credits as their big win. So if you're getting up into those higher tiers, it's probably not a good idea for you to really pay too mind to those events. Unless it's one of those free giveaway events where they give a trip, then, you know, spend as much as you'd like. Speaking of spending, I don't know if you guys have noticed this little buy symbol right here, and you get all these different like little cookies and stuff. So, I'm not 100% sure, but I've heard lots and lots of talk about it, where if you buy one of these, you're actually more likely to get higher wins in the end game. It could just be a rumor, but it would make sense. I mean, Pop Slots is a company, so anything that they can do to raise their profit margin would probably benefit them. So if they're doing that, kudos for them. It helps you out if you're willing to spend a little bit of extra cash on something like this. As for other events, they have the one buy event. It's actually the only event that I really like, and that's after you get a big win, they'll double your big win if you buy any of their packages. So, I mean, I think that's great, especially if you got one of those wins that's like out of nowhere. You get like a 3 billion or 4 billion win, and it's your first big win, and they double that. That's just great for credits, and that's a hell of a lot cheaper than this big one up here. The 1.5 billion for $100. I mean, you're much better off that way if they have those events again. The Undersea event, I will say this, that one is geared towards higher level players. I noticed when I was playing it that a lot of the wins I was getting was actually worth about 2 spins at my current rate. So when I was winning those, it was really, really good. Other events that I like, that's pretty much it. I really don't like the bonus chips events. I don't like this piggy bank event. I don't like anything to do with the FU slots. Those ones right there I don't feel like are a benefit for me, but it all depends on your level and the amount of chips that you have in your purse. So keep that in mind as well. Next thing is some win seats. There are certain seats in certain casinos that actually are more likely to win. And you probably have seen it where you'll go to a casino and there'll be a bunch of people standing behind one seat. Most of those people are bots. And what they're doing is they're just sitting there waiting for that seat to be vacant, and then they'll pop in, and then they'll do all their bets until the bonus goes off, and then they'll leave. The big one is, if you look at the very center, like, you see this guy, Vincent, where he's sitting, and where I'm sitting. If you're sitting in those two seats on Kong, you have a higher chance of winning in the lower tier brackets because of the way that Kong is set up. It's the same for the opposite side, because it's a mirrored image. But seats 2 and 4, where this guy is sitting right here, and where it's a blank seat, those seats on Kong have a higher tier average towards the end game. So if you can get to end game, then you're better off that way. But Kong's one of those hard ones. Another one is Cleopatra. Cleopatra doesn't necessarily have a win seat, but what she has is, it looks like it's a buff to the person who picked the package. Whenever they're picking, they're more likely to get supers. A lot of people don't know this, but this game uses a random generator on some of them, like Kong, Cleopatra, and there's one more that has a random generator. I think it's Enchanted Wall, Wrath of Khan. Sometimes those are beneficial, sometimes they're not. But they randomly generate wins, so it doesn't matter how many bonus coins you have, you don't have any kind of buff. And that buff is what's going to help you out in other games that don't have a random generator. So just keep in mind what you're in. FU slots, that's the other one. The FU slots have a random generator. I tend to stick away from random generator games because I notice my wins are not really geared. My wins are not really geared to getting any big wins on those. So what I do is I tend to stick to ones that are a little bit more predictable, just like you would. You want something a little bit more predictable for those big wins. Speaking of big wins, free spins, highly underrated. So if you look right here, I got a 28.1 billion. This guy's got a 2 million. Look at his levels. This guy's got a 3 million, and he's a 194. Now, sorry, there's air traffic out here. Now, when you're working to try to get this big top win, the way you do that is not in these little casinos, because they don't really account to your big wins. Your big wins are counted from the smaller casinos, the ones that have the free spins. And you're probably thinking, what was I betting to get a 28.1 billion win on that thing for the free spins? Honestly, I was betting, I think it was around 60k a spin. But here's the thing. So those free spins, they're cumulative spins. Your bet goes up on the free spins every time that you play on a regular slot. So if you are on a different slot for like 3 weeks and you haven't won a free spin for a long time, and then you go in and then all of a sudden you get that free spins, that one right there is going to be much higher than what you're currently betting at. So if you're a little desperate on coins and you can trigger that free spins event, then you're going to get a lot bigger bang for your buck. I think I was about 3 weeks and I had probably gone through 4 or 5 billion in coins, and then in chips, and then I went to a free spins, and mine was Betrock. They had a Sticky Wilds bonus that came on, and Betrock has Stacked Wilds, which is just a great combo. Sticky Wilds and Stacked Wilds are always great. The other one I like is the Multiplier Wilds, because they stick there. But what ended up happening was the first 3 rows on the third spin filled up with Wilds, and they were stuck there for the rest of the game. And then on the last 3 spins, the last 3 rows, or the last 2 rows filled up with Wilds. And that's what got me my 28 billion win. And I think it was betting at probably about 7 or 8 million a bet, even though I was currently on the free spins only doing, I think, 60,000. And it was just because I had spent so long in these bigger casinos that I hadn't paid attention to the free spins in forever. So just keep that in mind. If you're feeling a little down on your luck, go into a free spins, bet low. You might not get a huge win like I did. That's all based upon luck. But you might just get that huge win that I got, and then you're going to skyrocket through the levels, because legit, when I got that win, I was probably a level 110. And then after I got that win, I got all the way up. I'm now at 2,381, and it's been about 2 weeks since that huge win. Maybe 3. So just keep that in mind. Now, as for... We'll go a little bit more in depth on the bots, and we'll go a little bit more in depth on the talking. So, I don't know if you guys noticed, whenever somebody comes down to the seat, I try to say hi to them. When they get a good win, I try to tell them, way to go, and every now and then I'll use one of these right here, just kind of personalize myself. Well, here's the thing. I've noticed that after talking to other people, like on your row, you tend to have a higher chance of triggering the bonus, and you have a higher chance of getting bigger bonuses, like thanking them and everything like that. I'm not sure why that is. The only thing I can think of is this game they want you to stick around for a long period of time, so you hit that buy button and you buy more coins. And if you're in a friendly area, which all of these emojis are very friendly, there's nothing negative here like a sad guy who's like, I just lost all my chips. They want you to be showing happy, excited, because that makes other people think that you're winning big, which means they might win big, which makes them enticed to press that buy button and buy coins. Oh, hey, look, we got a little Santa thing. But no, so, see, like I said, I started pressing these and Santa starts popping up. I don't think it'll be anything good, but who knows? But anyways, you go into your things and be a little bit more talkative. It brings more people into the game, which benefits the company more, which entices more people to buy. So it would make sense why you would get more likely a bonus if you're talkative to other people. So just keep that in mind. Bots, they don't respond, they don't talk, they don't do anything. And there's a lot of stipulation whether pop slots put them in to make their casinos look crowded, or if they were put in by people with like multiple profiles, so that way they can get more bonuses. Because these little bonus coins, they're great towards your trips and stuff like that. So it's a little back and forth as to what they were put in for. But if you look at where they're sitting, they have an algorithm to sit in the higher paying seats. So keep that in mind. If you're noticing that there's a big stack of bots right behind one of the seats on one of those casinos that have a random generator, there's a chance there's a reason for that. So keep an eye out for people that are just stacked behind one seat rather than people that are stacked behind all the seats, because that'll give you a big bump. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is games like Fire and Ice, Emeralds and Rubies, and the Santa Claus game. There's a few others, I can't remember them all, but whenever you get into a game like this where it has an accumulative bonus or an additive bonus, so every time that you get it, it adds up to your total, you want to save those tokens till you get high enough that you're going to get a big win. See, because these games, they kind of have this thing. They want to show people that there's a chance of them getting big wins. Once again, if there's a chance for a big win, people are more likely to stay and then spend money, make the company money, makes everybody happy. So what they'll do is, if your bonus is really high compared to the other team, you'll actually get a little bit of a buff towards your game. I noticed that when my bonus is lower, I get less free spins. I noticed that when my bonus is lower, I lose a lot more on the end game. And when my bonus is above 15 million, I start noticing I'm on the winning team a lot more. Whereas opposed to if it's under 10 million, I'm usually on the losing team. So pick an eye out for who you're sitting next to. The higher the level the guy, the more likely your bonus is going to be. Now, in Santa Claus, everyone helps together, but there's a wheel that goes around, and I noticed the person with the higher bonus tends to get a higher wheel. I don't understand how they accumulate that, but that's what it kind of looks like. So, also, after you get your first huge win and you got some spare change of chips, what you want to do is you want to kind of stack up multiple machines. Like, go to Fire and Ice, get that thing up to 15 million, then back out of it before the event triggers. Go over to Emeralds versus Rubies, get that thing up to 15 million, then back out before the event ends. If you like Kong, go over to Kong, get that up to 15 million, then back out before the event ends. And then go to Santa's and get that up to 15 million, back out before the event starts. You want to have 15 sitting on each one of those. Then play the game that you actually like playing, and keep playing with the bonus for that. Then when you run out of chips, go back to those games and sit down and just wait for the event. Don't even spin. You're literally just waiting for the event to trigger. Because you have your chips and multiple slots, there's a bigger chance that one of them is going to have a heavy hit, and if you lose on one of them, you have 4 or 5 other backups. Currently, I sit at every slot that has a bonus. I'll have it at 15 million at least, so that way if I lose all my chips on some of the slots I really don't like the Wall of Khan, I'm not a big fan of. Enchanted Wall, I'm not a huge fan of. And Cleopatra, I'm not a huge fan of. But if I lose a lot of chips on those, then I'll go back to the other ones that I do like, where I've saved up all these 15 millions. And I'll just wait for the event to trigger, and I'll get like 4 or 5 billion on some, I'll get like 1 billion on others, and every now and then I'll get like a huge win. I think my biggest win was 188 billion. I got a screenshot of that. I'll eventually post it to my channel. But if you do that, then you have a more reoccurring bets. So you're more likely to stay high up in the billions rather than spend it all the way down to 0. Wait for that bonus trigger, and you have a small win, and then you're like, oh, I lost all my chips. If you kind of spread it out, then you're more likely to stay higher up in the higher betting range. So the last thing I'm going to go over is my favorite machines. Personally, my favorite machine, and you guys have heard me say it many times, is Emeralds versus Rubies. I love that machine. I always pick Emeralds and get big wins, and then whenever I'm on Rubies, I feel like I'm going to lose big, but I don't really lose big on that one. It has a safe gap, so there's no chance of you getting a 0 bonus. It has a safe gap of 50 that saved me a few times. It also seems to have a buff towards people with higher bets, so if you're on a team that has the higher bet compared to the other team, it seems like your team will win more. On that one, I've gotten 3,000 times multiplier. The jackpot in the center is really easy to get, and also it has its own emerald jackpot built into the machine, and the minor and the major is pretty easy to get when you're betting high, so I really like that machine. Fire and Ice, I have a love and a hate for it. I love the game when I'm on the, not Fire and Ice, Fire and Lightning, that's what it's called. I love the game when I'm on the lightning team. I hate the game when I'm on the fire side. So if I'm on the lightning side, I love the game because it has that lightning strike that always seems to target their highest card value over there, and it's kind of sporadic. And their bonus is harder to get, but it's 3 extra free spins where you can get that lightning strike more. I've seen some of my biggest wins on lightning versus fire. Probably one of my favorite machines. After that, I'll do quick gold if I just want to put out a quick video, or if I only have a little bit of time. I'll sit down in the hot seat, I'll do quick gold, I'll get a couple of the bonuses. I don't really see a big change in profits. I usually stick right around where I was. This event should trigger soon. I've gone through, I think, 20 billion. But no, I normally go to, on that one, I'll just go to the hot seat, I'll sit there on the first game, I'll try to get 1 spot on the wall, then I'll wait till that game ends, and then the next game, it seems like I get 5 or 6 wins if I stay in that same seat. So that first game is kind of a throwaway for me. The second game is where I get my big wins. So just keep that in mind. The Wall of Khan, it's fun because there's that what if, but because it's got that random generator, you never know if you're going to win anything big. I never play Dorothy. Dorothy has a low jackpot. It has a low chance of, it has a high chance of being triggered, so you can't really stack up your event tokens. But if you are going to play it, look at the payouts before you pick who you're going to be. Because, yeah, your win might be lower, but your wheel spins might be higher if you choose. I think the Cowardly Lion has the highest wins on that one. And it's like a 50 times. So if you fill up that whole wheel, you get a higher bet than Dorothy, who has a 20. So just keep that in mind. Besides that, I stick away from the Kong. Every time that I go on the Kong, I seem to lose big. Cleopatra, I always try to stick there till the end, and I end up losing big. Enchanted Wall, it's got a cool revive thing, but it's random. It's not based upon your credits, so I usually lose big on that one. The Bank Heist is fun, but unless you're the picker, you don't get really that big of a bonus. So if you feel really lucky, you can go to Bank Heist. Santa's Run, it's the same thing. Unless you're the picker, chances are you're not going to get that big spin bonus. On this one, you're trying to hope for as many of the Santa Claus figures as you can, because that'll get you your big bonus. And then for smaller free slot machines, I like any of the ones that are in the stacked wild zone, or sticky wilds. Sticky wilds is amazing. I also like in the other machines. I think the sticky wilds is in the Wall of Con one. It's the second one you unlock. And then for other free spins that I like, I really like the ones with the multiplier, where the wilds have the multiplier on them. There's one in each of the 3 casinos that have the free spins. And then I like the wild one, the one with the panther on it. I can't remember the name of it right now, but that one, when the event triggers, the wilds will stick for an extra turn. So whenever you get those free spins, that wild sticks there for an extra turn. It's kind of like a temporary sticky wild. Now, all of that being said, if you go to the Wall of Con, there's a chance when you get the bonus that you'll get the Ice Storm and the Ice Smash, or whatever it's called. Ice Smash, I never have a good win on that one. It usually is under $1 billion. And then the double XP, which is a complete ripoff. I hate the double XP, so keep that in mind. You're going for the highest win, Sticky Wilds is your bet if you fill up the board. But at the same time, you also have a big chance of getting the double XP. The other one that I like is, if I can't find a Sticky Wild that I'm interested in, I'll go to the one that has extra wilds added, and I'll always do the extra wilds added with the multiplier. Because the multiplier is a big deal. Extra wilds, that's a big deal. But I think it has one of those buffs that kind of sucks, where it's just free spins and you just get 12 free spins. It's the same as double XP. It's pointless for me. So, pretty much what you can take away from this video is hot seat is good for quick wins on the wheel. Cold seat is good for quick bonuses, and that is according to their help page. Events, you want to be, if you're high ranking, you want to stick out for events that have one of the free trips or that have higher payouts. If you're low ranking, you want to stick to the events that have like the steps events or the piggy bank events, because they'll get you big wins that you wouldn't normally get. Winning seats always follow the bots. So if you're see have a lot of bots behind a certain seat, there's usually a reason for that. Free spins are additive. So you get your additive free spins after you've been on one of these machines for a long time and you've just spent a lot of coin and you're getting a little low. I usually say keep about 50 to 100 low bet spins in your bank, so that way you can go one of the free spins and kind of get your money back, so you can go back into these big ones, right? And then always be polite and way to go people, and hi people, and thumbs up people. Just be talkative. I really do think that it gets you bigger wins, and it gets you a bigger chance of getting these events triggered and more bonuses. So just always keep that in mind. And yeah, on a different note, if you are playing this game just for the rewards, let me show you the rewards real quick. I'll back out of this. If you're going into this event for just the rewards, make sure your bets are not high. You're not here for winning these chips. You're here for getting these little balloons, and it doesn't matter what level you are or how much you're betting. These balloons always have the same ratio of releasing these gold coins as they do XP or chips or event tokens, right? So if you want any of these big wins on getting your free rewards, make sure your bets are low, especially when you win that first big bet of $1 billion. Go to the free slots, find somewhere where there's 4 other people or 3 other people, and then just, bet really low for a prolonged period of time and pop all the balloons you can. You're not going to get levels, you're not going to get many chips, but you are going to get a lot of gold coins, and before you know it, you'll be able to get some of these higher tier ones where you're like, oh, you know what, I want to redeem, let's go all the way up here. You're going to go all the way up to these 150s, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I can get a complimentary room, or $50 in real money, or hey, here's a 5% off a Royal Caribbean Full House discount. Like, some of these are really amazing. Here you go, wild card for an extra $50,000 compared to the other one. There's 10% off. Or this one, look, VIP dining package. What does that entail? Like, this looks cool. Includes a glass of champagne and dinner. I mean, it's probably one of those dining with the captains kind of thing. So, really, realistically, just find a goal on here, and as soon as you meet that goal, go ahead and take it. You kind of deserve it. You've been playing this game probably for a few months, and you need that break. But the big thing is don't get bogged down if you're losing a lot. There's a lot of times where I'll have big losses, and I'll sit around for probably a good, I don't know, 3-4 weeks trying to collect all the tokens on Facebook and all the chips on Facebook, just kind of waiting for my big win. And then the big win will happen, and then I'll have chips for a weekend, and I'll be super happy, and then they'll all go away, and I'll lose them all again. So, look, see, I'm on a cold seat. This is one of the bonuses. It triggers more on a cold seat. There's proof right there. But, no, you really don't get bogged down. If you lose a lot of chips, you'll be down, you'll be up. And if you're thinking about buying, don't let anyone shame you into buying chips or not buying chips. I mean, that is your own personal thing. The way I like to think about it is if you play a game as much as you would, like you go to a movie, it's 2 hours of entertainment. If you're playing this game for 2 hours of entertainment, then how much is the price of a movie? Like $10? Spend $10 on this game if you're that interested in it. But don't be like, oh, I'm going to get this trip for completely free, because I don't think that's quite how it works. And they know that, you know that. People do buy on this game all the time. So just do it if you feel like you want to. If you have that extra money, go ahead and spend a little bit on it. But if you don't feel like you want to, then go onto Facebook, collect your free chips, log in every 2 hours, collect your free chips, get your winnings up so you can get those higher bets, and then come in and try to make your big bets on these good casinos. Save up your bonus credits until you get a decent amount, and then go in. It takes a lot longer time, but it's a lot better in the long run if you are trying to save money. But anyways, this has been Ducky Randoms. If you like this game, it's called Pop Slots. It's on Android. It's on iPhone. It's partnered with MGM. You have a chance for rewards. I'm not sponsored by them. I just really like this game. I'm gonna get my Vegas trip in, and I'm gonna spend these tokens on it to get free rooms and free events. And that's the whole point of this game for me, is just that aspect. Now, if you like the chips aspect, that's on you. But this has been Ducky Randoms, and I hope you guys all have a great day. Please leave a like, please subscribe, follow my channel, and send me a message if you want to know more. Alright, you guys all have a great day. Bye!